Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's doing great. Hi, Carla, Seawood, Ginger, Ariel, Donna, Sailor Moon. Uh, well, there, Valerie, Drippy popped in. Don't think she's still here. And we're going to get to that, Drippy. That's part of what I have for this live today. You're totally picking up what I'm laying down. Linda, hi. Johnny, hi. I hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys seen the update that come out there from RCMP regarding the cadaver dogs that I just put out before this video. Kimberly, hi. Thanks for being here. Thanks everyone for being here. Rena girl. Yeah. Linda. Yeah. You saw it, did you, Valerie? Yeah. I don't know what is going on there. All my colors are off and I don't like it. You missed the update, did you? Well, you know what? Let me play it and we'll just play my video. And while it's playing, I will fix my colors. And then that way you guys will all have seen it. Oh, I mean, I read it, but you can listen to me reading it. Not much of an update, really, to be honest with you. Okay, where did I leave this off at? 1706. 1706. You guys hear me saying that? 1706. Because we got to come back to a video. And the time is at 1706 where I want to go into the video. All right. Go to my channel. Hi, everyone. Well, I guess it's good afternoon. I was going to say good morning. It is not morning. Yeah, so there is an update from the RCMP regarding the cadaver dogs, the cadaver dog search in the Lilly&Jack Sullivan case. So we have Lily Sullivan, 6 years old, Jack Sullivan, 4 years old. Last seen May 1st, 2025, reported missing May 2nd, 2025, from Garlock Road, Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, and there is a $150,000 reward. And you can see the numbers on the bottom of the screen, scrolling across the screen there. If you have any information on this case, please call one of those numbers and speak with RCMP and discuss what you know. Very, very, very important. So I'm just going to quickly go over this, and I'm doing it by putting video out rather than live, but I will be live at 2:30. As most of you know, the notifications would have went out. And at 2:30, we will be discussing the latest with information coming from Daniel Martell, who is I guess some people call him the stepfather of these two beautiful babies. He was the partner of their mother, whom she was living with. So they all resided with him. in Lansdowne Station, Pictou County, Nova Scotia. However, until then, we will go over this latest information. I know everybody's been waiting for it. There's honestly not a whole heck of a lot there. They did state one thing that I'm thankful they stated. But we will take a look at that. Okay, I will go over that, put it out to you guys, and then I will see you guys at 2:30. Okay, so lots of love, lots of positive vibes, and see you at 2:30. Okay. And you can see the beautiful babies there, Lily and Jack. All right, cadaver dogs, and this came out today, I think now probably about 2 hours ago. Oh, last updated 3 hours ago. Okay. Cadaver dogs search for Lilly and Jack Sullivan didn't find human remains. RCMP say 2 teams searched a total area of 40 kilometers. Wow, that's a lot. Holy cow. And there they are again. So cute. Nova Scotia RCMP say cadaver dogs did not locate human remains in the search for missing children Lily and Jack Sullivan. In a news release Monday, the Mounties said 2 dog teams searched a total of 40 kilometers in the Lansdowne Station area in late September. The sparsely populated community in Pictou County is about 140 kilometers northeast of Halifax. Inspector Luc Rattay and his dog Narc. Now, just to make note, this would be Inspector Luc Rattay, and he's actually an inspector. Interesting. Because you have to remember, I mean, there are CMP officers, right, who are the dog handlers, but they're still, a sergeant, an inspector, whatever other title. So he's actually an inspector. So now that I see that title, that's interesting because he is the officer who stated to Daniel regarding the ashes in the stove comment. Anyways, Inspector Luc Rattay and his police dog Narc, as well as Sergeant Dave Whalen and his police dog Kit, searched the property the children went missing from, along with a nearby pipeline and intersecting trails. And in the area where a pink blanket was previously found, the release said, it said those locations had the highest probability of finding the children, but they were not found. Sergeant Staff Stephen Pike of the RCMP Police Dog Services Training Center said the dogs are highly trained to detect the scent of human remains. So if the dogs did not alert their handlers, it suggests the dogs were never in the presence of human remains odors. Now, this is the part I'm glad they put that in there. However, this doesn't definitively rule out the presence of remains in the areas that were searched, said Pike, because if they did not put that sentence in there, well, we can just imagine, right? It means either the odor is there and couldn't be detected, or the odor isn't there. So it doesn't mean that it wasn't there. The children's disappearance in early May previously sparked an extensive grid search that spanned 8.5 square kilometers of mostly dense woods and involved about 160 ground search and rescue volunteers, service dogs, drones, and helicopters. RCMP say the Northeast Novah Major Crime Unit continues to follow up on information that has been gleaned from more then 860 tips, 8,060 video files that have been reviewed and forensic testing. That have been reviewed and forensic testing. Wonder if any of that came back yet. There are multiple aspects of this investigation ongoing simultaneously, said Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon, officer in charge of major crime and behavioral sciences. Each piece of information, including the results from the search teams, helps inform our next steps. With support from agencies across Canada, the investigative team is working to validate or eliminate leads and follow the evidence wherever it takes us. He added that RCMP are still considering all possibilities, and I'm glad they stated that as well. We'll keep going until we determine with certainty the circumstances of the children's disappearance and until they're found, said McCammon. All right, guys, that's it. Now, there might be some more information that does come out later, possibly around supper time. Sometimes that does happen. So, yeah. So if so, we'll discuss discuss other information that comes out at another time, or I'm sure one of the other channels will definitely hit on it. So that is everything for now. I will see you guys at 2:30. Okay.
The information of what police.
Nothing was moved.
I'm muted. Sorry. Yeah, so that's that. Carla, thanks for putting the 1706 in the chat for me. Not a whole heck of a lot there, but I mean, I guess it was going to go either way, right? And that's the way it went. So, what do you guys think of that? Yeah, oopsie. The worst thing is when you have the headset on connected to the mic, because you can actually hear your voice through your headset as though you can hear it on the computer, and so it takes a couple of seconds to clue in that you guys can't hear me. I can hear me. Okay, so now let's go over to, I don't know how many of you guys remember. So September 8th, I believe it was, I had did a video, and it was about Daniel saying that he had heard Lily say, "Hey, Dad." He was asked in Mike Demand's chat by Mike, "What is the last thing you remember Lily saying?" But Mike didn't state a time. He had just stated, what was the last thing you remember Lily saying? And Daniel had said he remembered her saying, "Hey, Dad." And it really struck me because I thought, well, when did she say that? Because she was poking her head in the room. So if she didn't say it then, because he had always said Lily never said anything when she was poking her head in the room. That's been the story all along. That she never ever said anything. In my opinion, someone dropped the ball in this case. Just my feelings and opinion. Oh, I hope not. I really, really hope not. Fingers crossed. I might get to that point, though, where I'm on the same side as the fence as you with your thoughts. And hello to Kent. And who else came in? Charmaine. Hi. Did I miss anybody? Cheryl. Cheryl Light, hi. Charmaine and Kent. Bobby Joe. And thank you. Thank you, Bobby Joe. Who else? Jen. Yeah. And anybody else who's come in. Trudels, hi. Thanks everyone for being here. Yeah, so it struck me when he had said that because Daniel had always said Lily said nothing when she came into the room. However, there was a previous, I don't know if you want to call it a story or what you want to call it. It was a statement that Daniel had made that they had told the kids to quiet down. So with that in mind, I thought, well, obviously she must have said something when she came into the room. Why would they be telling the kids to quiet down? Obviously they were being verbal, right? So it doesn't make sense. Why is he saying she said nothing when she came in the room, but yet they had to tell the kids to quiet down? And yeah, and now he's saying the last thing he heard her say was, "Hey, Dad." And I was like, well, she must have said something when she came in the room then. So I, yeah, every time you do the hellos, I know, romper room vibes. Yeah, I'm glad you like it. Yeah. There's no way parents can hide behind, oops, in Canada. Neglect of children is a crime, body or no body. I agree, Vesica, and thanks for being here. I agree. Yeah, the words Malaya said about Daniel being able to tell lies to the media and social media, and it wasn't illegal. Yeah, I know. Echoes in my head when Daniel speaks. Exactly. Exactly. Same. Same, Ginger. Hi, Mary. Thanks for being here. Yeah. So we're going to listen to this little bit of video here first. There's a couple of things I want you to hear in here, and then we're going to go over to the video I had did about that, because the actual thumbnail on my video was, when did Lily say, "Hey, Dad?" Because none of it was just making any sense to me. Like, she either said something when she came in the room or she didn't. Because if you're saying now that she said, "Hey, Dad," and well, when did she say that then? If she said nothing when she came in the room, because you had previously said you guys had to tell them to quiet down. So, like, it's just didn't make sense. And then on top of that, Justin had started calling him out as well, because Justin unclutched them pearls, because he was saying that he didn't think Lily was sick. And I had the same thought, which I'm sure many of us did. Well, how the heck would you even know? Because in order for you to know what a child sounds like when the day before they had a cough and a sore throat, they would have to speak. You're sort of here, are you, Drippy? Well, that's sort of okay. No, I'm joking. Hi, thanks for popping in and out. And I don't know if you heard me say that what you had said at the beginning of the chat there when you popped in earlier, that's exactly where we're going with this. That was part of my lineup for today. So you were totally picking up what I was laying down. Hi, Mike. Thanks for being here. And Bonnie, hi. Thanks for being here. Yeah, so let's listen to this little blurb here first, because as you can see in this video as well, he's still not mentioning that Lily said anything. In this video, he's saying something about a lock rattling, and that's what woke him up when Lily was coming in, which I don't quite understand that lock, because you would think that the lock would be on the inside of the door if you can hear it rattling, right? Because the person's trying to get in and the lock would be making a noise. And if But if it was locked, she wouldn't be able to get in. So how would he have seen her? So that I'm just like, I don't understand that. And if the lock was on the outside of the door and was making some kind of noise because it was loose or whatever, well, that is not good when you see locks on the outside of a door. That's not a good thing to see, and it's not something that law enforcement likes to see. Yeah. I did. It made me feel special. Hi, Novah and everyone. Love this channel. Been watching the case from day one. Well, thank you for being here, Olive. Hi, Neuro. Thanks for being here. Yeah. I have a question. What time was dark on May 1st? Do we know if patio door was open or closed? Did cadaver dogs check Westville area? Dark was would have been, oh, I can't remember if the clocks had sprung ahead because it would be early spring. But I'm gonna say probably between 7:30 and 8:30. Let me see if the clock sprung ahead yet. There you go. 8:20 was sunset. Yeah, that sounds about right, Seawood. We'll go with that. Yeah, and if the patio doors were open and closed, I'm gonna assume closed because the weather wasn't the nicest. It was chilly and we had rainy, damp weather. And did the cadaver dogs check the Westville area? Yeah, interesting questions. They would have been pretty darn close as they spanned out that 40 kilometers heading towards Westville, I would think. No. No. No, absolutely not. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's listen to this. Got a couple of things on this I want you guys to hear.
And now they're being loud-ish. You mean loud enough?
Oh, and by the way, this is the DT show. I so wanted to use Mike Demand's video to play this, but he talks so much that it just wouldn't make sense when I tried to pick out what I wanted in between his talking. So I'm going with this video, and it's it's the Drunk Turkey Show, and I really want you to hear this part. So
For you guys to hear them.
Yep.
Your other daughter, Meadow, she was there though, right?
Yeah, she was actually laying beside me with Malaya.
Did you guys ever, or did Malaya ever tell the kids to be quiet? Were they were waking up Meadow at any point with their noise?
In that morning, no. But when Lily poked in, I did go, shh. Like when she would come in the room because she always woke up Meadow. Same with Jack, but I mean that's what kids do too, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so, some folks are saying that they may have walked out the back sliding glass door. That seems like the only logical explanation for them to have exited.
So you heard that, right? No mention of.
Nothing was moved.
And now they're being loud-ish. You mean loud enough for you guys to hear them?
Yep.
Your other daughter, Meadow, she was there though, right?
Yeah, she was actually laying beside me with Malaya.
Did you guys ever, or did Malaya ever tell the kids to be quiet? Were they were waking up Meadow at any point with their noise?
In that morning, no. But when Lily poked in, I did go, shh. Like when she would come in the room because she always woke up Meadow. Same with Jack, but I mean that's what kids do too, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so, some folks are saying that they may have walked out the back sliding glass door. That seems like the only logical explanation for them to have exited the house. You had something on the front door, correct?
Yeah, on the front porch, there's the front porch door, and then there's the inner door on the front. And I know for 100% they did not go out through that door. So because when I went and got the keys, and
Yeah, so I wanted you to hear that. And the other part I wanted you to hear, and I thought it was right after he said that, but I'll tell you what it was, is that he, DT asked him the question, do you think Malaya would have been able to get up out of the bed without, and I don't know why he would even put that in his head. But anyways, I'm glad he did ask, because I always wanted to know, because I always felt that something took place that Malay was just totally unaware of. And I always had that feeling. And I had wondered, and I had said it before about when, like, somebody had said about making the phone call to the school so early. And I said, well, I would too. If I was up with the baby, I'd make that phone call then. And if I'm going back to lay down, I wouldn't want to wake the baby back up, right? Because if you have to move and the baby's tucked into you, or whatever the case may be, then your chance of waking the baby up, right? And I always wondered that, like, who had the baby with them, who would more likely be the one to be able to get up out of bed without waking the baby. Anyways, it was Malaya, because DT asked him that question, and he states that Malaya had the baby snuggled into her arm, and that if she were to get up or in and out of the bed, the baby would have woke up, and that would have woke Daniel up. So then he answered my question. So yeah, that answered my question on that. Thank you, Neuro. Thank you for saying that. Hi, Lori. Thanks for being here. My thoughts: living near Keji would be so dark outside. Kids won't wander in that dark. Plus, coyotes would be around. They had chickens. Yeah. You mean when you lived near Keji? Yeah. I can't imagine. When it was dark out, no, I can't imagine. No. That would be pretty unlikely. Hi, Christine. Would have been easier just to get up and feed it. I know, right? Just get up and be a parent, right? So frustrating. Neither one got up out of bed that morning. Well, I don't know if we know that, because we weren't there. So, Novah Daniel said he came in when it was dark. Malaya said kids only went to bed at 10 p.m. I know. Times don't match. Yep. I would love to know if the sliding door had some sort of inside lock. Well, I'm sure it did. It should. Most doors do, right? Yeah. Hi, Heather. I think something happened to these precious babies Thursday night, not that morning, but that's just my speculation and opinion. I hope and pray they get found. I do too, because no matter what, they deserve to be found, whether it's, for proper burial, whatever the case may be. And I always say, none of us know. We do not know what took place. We don't know where the children are. We don't know what took place. All we can do is speculate. And that reminds me, we should be using in our opinion, IMO, in my opinion, speculation or allegedly, right? Yeah. So make sure we're doing that and not stating something as facts, right? So opinion, please do not use any person's full name. Well, some people use their full name, so if they're doing that, that's fine. Use initials. Never use anyone's address, phone number, and location in chat. That's called doxing. Don't do that. Please follow YouTube chat guidelines. Opinions expressed by persons in the chat do not reflect the opinions of Novah's Inquest. Everything discussed here is speculation, theories, opinions, and possible rumors. So make sure you're using in my opinion. Yeah, so okay, so now let's go over to my video, and please keep in mind what I said, what else about was in this video here about Daniel stating that the baby was on Malaya's arm. Just going over to the video, guys. Oh, is it ever windy here? Yeah. I think it happened to be right at that spot too. Guys, for sure. Oh, okay. I'm already on there. Okay, I'll just hit play, let you guys listen. I think it's coming right up. Lots of love to you, Chelsea. Yeah, lots of love, lots of positive vibes to you and your mama. Yeah, so that was one thing. And the other thing that I wanted to show you guys, I have to go over here. I had discussed about how Daniel had stated on Mike Demands, and that is the name of his channel, Mike Demand, DAMMANN. And how Daniel, I had showed the, I'll pull it back up. Share screen. Oh, those are the signs there too that Kent was speaking of that you see right there on screen. Oh yeah. So I had spoke of Daniel stating on that show when Mike had asked him, those are other things I'm going to eventually talk about the, he had asked him what was the last thing Lily stated to him, and he said, "Hey, Dad." Daniel's response was, "Hey, Dad." And then I compared it to his statement, and in his statement, he had stated that Lily hadn't said anything that morning. And then afterwards, I thought, they're going to think I'm crazy because I didn't explain to them. I didn't explain to you very well the fact that I hope you guys can see that. I tried to make it as big as I could. But anyways, you can see Mike Demand says there, Daniel, what was the last thing Lily, what is the last thing you remember Lily saying to you? And Daniel says she had stated, "Hey, Dad," and that it was heartbreaking because nobody had ever asked him that. In his statements, he had stated when they had asked, "What did Lily say to you?" And he said, "She said nothing." Like when she was coming in, and he stated she came in and out of the room a few times. Well, when Daniel was in the speaking to CTV, and I have a picture of that here. Oh, I'll have to send it. When Daniel spoke to CTV, he had stated that, I'm going to pull it up. CTV. And I'm going to share with you what he stated. We'll just go over that. And then when we're done with that, we'll end for the day and I'll be back on tomorrow, I believe. We're not actually ending for the day. This is an older video, guys. Just a reminder. Hi, Mark. Thanks for being here. And to anybody else who come in, Jules Offspree. Make sure you guys can see that okay. I think you can. Yeah, big gust here too, Trippy. Okay, so I'm just going to read this. And hi to everyone new coming into the room. Or chat room. I do see other people there. Okay, so the stepfather of 2 missing children in rural area of Nova Scotia's Pictou County is speaking out as the exhaustive search for the children enters its 5th day. And my point is, in reading this, is Mike Demand didn't specifically ask, what was the last thing Lily said to you when she was popping in and out of the room? But Daniel says the last thing that Lily said to him was, hey, Dad. But in my mind, to me, it was when she was popping in and out of the room, because he had stated when this all first started in an interview that there were interactions with Lily and Jack that morning. Now, this is on May 6th that this is on CTV, so we can assume that it was probably done. The interview was probably done on May 5th, where Daniel talks about the interactions with Lily and Jack. So that's why, in my mind, I'm assuming that it was the morning the kids went missing that she would have said, hey, Dad. And you'll see why when I finish reading it. Okay, so the stepfather of 2 missing children in a rural area of Nova Scotia's Pictou County is speaking out as the exhaustive search for the children enters its 5th day. Lily Sullivan, 6, and Jack Sullivan, 4, were reported missing around 10 a.m. Friday. They were last seen on Garlock Road in Lansdowne Station. Police believe the siblings wandered away from their home and say there is no information to suggest they were abducted. And they're still saying that, by the way, as of August 22nd. So as I said, regarding this tip from the lady that in the Hidden in the Fog video, they're still saying no reason to believe they were abducted. So, however, the children's stepfather is starting to think otherwise. Hardly any evidence at all since the first day. It's mind-boggling that nothing else was found, said Daniel Martell. Martell has been dating the children's mother for 3 years, and they have an 18-month-old daughter. Martell says Lily and Jack never go into the woods by themselves. He describes them as vulnerable and autistic, which they've never been diagnosed as autistic, FYI. I just feel the need to correct things. They never cross the road. We never cross the road. We have cabins we built up in the woods, and then that's where usually as far as we take them, he says. Martell says he and Malaya Brooks Murray asked Lily and Jack to, okay, so this is the part. Martell says he and Malaya Brooks Murray asked Lily and Jack to quiet down on Friday morning to let the baby sleep. So there was interaction that morning. So if that was the last thing that Lily said to him, one would think that it was that morning. We were in the room laying down, and this is in quotes, me, Malaya, and baby Meadow. Lily poked her head in a couple of times. Well, he goes back and forth a few times. I seen that she was wearing a pink t-shirt, and we usually don't like them to be loud because they were going to wake up the baby. We want the baby to get as much sleep as possible, he says. So they had asked them to quiet down. So, is it just me, or are we hearing a total different story now? So you just heard what he said on the Drunk Turkey show, right? And then you hear what was said there. Plus, he is saying he saw the pink t-shirt on her. Yeah. So that just did not make sense to me. I mean, none of that right there makes sense. Actually, I forgot that it said all that as well. So that's interesting that I was playing that in regards to the fact that about they asked them to quiet down. So Lily must have said something that day. Why is he saying she said nothing? And then saying she said, "Hey, Dad." Well, that must have been when she said it. But all of the other stuff there totally contradicts what he just said on the DT show. I didn't even intend to show that. I forgot that that was in there as well. Yeah, completely different story. It's just I don't understand why. Like I don't want to point a finger at anybody. I'm just your brain is obviously going to question these things because it does not make sense. And I do understand that little things can be forgotten. Like he said from on Mike Demand that she said, "Hey, Dad." Well, now he's saying uh what he stated on Susan's, which I'm going to bring up, um, that she had said, "Hey, Dad," or "Hello, Dad," or no, "Hello, Dad," or "Hi, Dad," right? Well, that to me would be something that you could forget, right? Because if you said, uh, you know, 3 weeks ago she said, "Hey, Dad," and then today you say, "Hi, Dad." Well, yeah, okay, I could see you getting that a little mixed up. But not a complete change in story. I don't understand that. I don't. And again, it doesn't mean anybody did anything nefarious. I'm just pointing something out that my brain is saying this doesn't make sense. Um, yeah. So, yeah, so completely different there. So, anyway, so we have all that. And then me questioning that. Well, when did she say, "Hey, Dad," then? If you guys had to say, quieting down, but then yet you're saying she didn't say anything when she came in the room. Well, when did you hear her say, "Hey, Dad"? Because that obviously couldn't have been her last words then. It must have been something else, if it wasn't that morning. Anyway, so, and then, like I said, we have Justin on Clutch Them Pearls going, "Well, how do you know she wasn't sick if you're saying she didn't say anything when she came in the room?" Which I already determined she must have said something if they asked them to quieten down that morning. He must have heard her say something that morning. So why he kept sticking to this story that she said nothing when she came in the room, I couldn't understand. Okay, now we're going to go over to Hidden in the Fog. And we're going to see what was recently stated there, which I'm sure some of you guys already know. I'm sure some of you guys have already heard it. I don't know how small this is going to come up, but hopefully you guys will be able to see it. So the reason why I kept this comment up, in my opinion, Daniel saw what Lily was wearing, then saw Lily, he knows what she was wearing. And he did say in what I just read there in the earlier, and like we say, when you go back to the earlier statements that were made, that tends to be closer to what the truth is. That's just historically, right? So not saying that's so in this case, I don't know, but just it's typical for that to be so. The reason why I kept that comment up there is because, yeah, he did say that about the pink shirt, right? But then we find out, well, no, because Janie took that pink shirt, and that's to me is where some of the confusion was there. Janie had taken that pink shirt and Lily's jacket and the Barbie shirt, took it out, according to Janie, so this is allegedly, and took it outside, assuming that the dogs were specific scent sniffer dogs and that she could get them to follow the scent of Lily's clothing. Come to find out that no, that's not so. So that stuff was just taken and set on top of the vehicle. And I feel like that is where some confusion may be coming from about what Lily was wearing, because I mean, as a mother, if somebody else in the household had taken those items, took them outside, and I wasn't aware, and then I'm seeing that they're not in the house, it could be my assumption, well, that must be what Lily still has on, her pink shirt, because I don't see it here. And from what I'm seeing, and how they were gathering information was more so from Malaya. So if Malaya did not see that pink shirt there and said, she has her pink shirt on, it's not here, unbeknownst to her that it was taken outside, and it's sitting on top of a vehicle, right? Like it just could have been some miscommunication there. Just thinking outside of the box, just wondering if that might be what could have happen there, right? But now why Daniel was saying that's what she had on, maybe he did see her with that on, and then she did take it off. Who knows, right? Hard to say. I mean, kids are quite capable of switching their clothes at that age. Yeah. Hi, Sharona. Ma Sharona. Allison, hi. Don't worry about being late. You can always go back and listen. Or you can go back to the beginning and put it on 2 times speed. And then it helps you get caught up. I do that sometimes. I did it yesterday watching Justin, yeah. Yeah. Yes, I hear ya. We're going to touch on that one too after we listen to Sue's stuff here. Yeah, in my opinion, Malaya's statements indicate she knew what the kids had on. She hadn't changed them. Subconsciously, she is giving us the timeline being May 1st. Yeah, possibly, right? Like I said, it would be her assumption Lily still had that shirt on because that's what she put her in bed in, and it's not sitting in the house on the bedroom floor on Lily's bed because Janie, little Miss Busybody Janie, had taken it outside with good intentions, I guess, if that's all allegedly. So if that's all true, good intentions of thinking the dogs could sniff it, right? And I mean, would Malaya know it was out there that Janie took it, right? Probably not. Makes me so mad that that house should have roped off by RCMP. Roped off, yep. So many, I know, so much evidence could have been removed, moved, or contaminated. I know. I agree. And I've said, to me, that is one mistake they made for sure. And that's not just them. That's something that, may possibly have to change in how these cases are handled. Hi, Bonnie. Excuse me. None of them believed the entire world would become invested in these children's fate. I agree. They thought everyone would be just like they are. People who don't give a single crap about these kids. Yep. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize what the true crime community is like, and that people are getting fed up with this crap. Like, just getting fed up. There's too much of it that you're hearing going on. More rare than the US, but this is all North America at the end of the day. I don't have kids, but took care of many. I couldn't even pee without a kid following me around, often calling me mom by accident because they say it 50 times as soon as they get up. Exactly. Why so little talk? Exactly. Exactly, right? Out of a child who we know is very verbal and expressive, right? I'm on the road. I'm going to listen. Oh, well, thanks, Solace. Pay attention to the road, though. In my opinion, orientation, I feel it wasn't the original plan, but Malaya decided to give her a note, had him over a barrel. Yeah. What if Daniel, working on Kerr, ran over kids, if kids still awake? Just a theory. Yeah, but you would think that the cadaver dogs would have picked something up in the driveway. One would think. One would hope. But you're not the first person to have said that, Sharona. When kids go missing, should be automatically a crime scene, right, until proven otherwise. I 100% agree. And there's things, when you see stuff like this, and then your mind, you're talking about it, you see other people talking about it, eventually, that's somewhat a sign to eventually see change in the future, right? Mary, she's not blaming him as of yet, 5 months down the line and lost medal. Well, we don't really know what she's saying, do we? Because she's not talking to media. She's not talking to anybody, except hopefully our CMP, which is the right people to talk to. 100%. Okay, let's go over to Susan. Hi to anybody new that came in. If I missed you, I apologize. Now I'm going to have to read this because she doesn't read it. She just plays some really sappy, sad music. Okay, got to keep pausing it like that so I don't miss it. Okay, Malaya is doing the most intelligent thing. So again, this is Daniel Martell. This channel is Hidden in the Fog. Credit to them. Credit to DT for earlier. And he has been communicating with Susan from Hidden in the Fog. He also communicates with his name is Daniel, but we'll call him DT to keep it less confusing. From the Drunk Turkey Show, the DT show. So this is some more communication from Daniel to Susan, between Daniel and Susan. Malaya is doing the most intelligent thing possible at this time. And I'm going to read it exactly the way it is written. It faces heavy criticism, but subjectively, it's been more reputation saving the route I've decided to venture. Mine leaves me facing heavy outpours of claims like false polygraph exam passes, which I found weird he said that, lies to protect Malaya, me planting evidence, receiving relentless attacks on my character, resulting in thousands of hours of video footage for my children to see as they age and for my children to be bullied about. Some individuals don't understand that a human on the other side of the screen. I've become desensitized to judgment. I'm not going to point fingers at her because the players in this case will receive maximum penalties for involvement. I'm not saying I know any names of the characters involved, but one day individuals will have to pay for the enormous circus of effery this case has become. Major crimes will solve it. I have faith. There. I have faith. I'll make one last statement for her statement. I'll make one last statement. Her to address something I always wanted to ask. Haley, if I was doing rugs in the bathroom, I came out and you said you made your way right in to investigate. Why so? Why no mention of smoke or smell or even rugs for that matter? You said you made your way right in to investigate. Your simple narrative stunts don't hold weight. Susan, there's some content I wanted to address. I'll add some extra on human remains dog search areas. The property here, blanket site, pipeline, and areas between the property here and Lansdowne Station Road. There was also unmarked law enforcement vehicles up by Justin Smith's house. I don't know if dogs were assigned tasks in that location or not. Lansdowne area at this Lansdowne area at this current time is the only search area I know of. Little bonus content there. Thanks, Susan, for reaching out. Okay. Does anyone notice anything about that? And I read it exactly the way that he wrote it. Thank you, Ginger. Yes. Yeah. Full credit to Hidden in the Fog. Yeah. Does anybody know how disorganized that is? It's all over the place. And I had talked about this before. Actually, I did another video on this about how, because I started wondering, is Daniel possibly schizophrenic? Total speculation. And I'm only saying that because as a nurse who worked in the area of mental health for many years, and have, taken care of and nursed many schizophrenics, that there's times it's coming off as a type of psychosis to me. Now, there's other things that can cause a psychosis, but that, of course, was the first thing that came to my mind because that's what I'm used to dealing with. At that and some other things, but I started thinking, like, is he in some kind of psychosis? Because he talks in riddles, he talks very disorganized. There's like, what is going on here, and I still question if that might be a possibility. Total speculation in my opinion. Now, whether it's because he's schizophrenic or whether it's because of everything that's happening, could, throw somebody into that, or whether it's due to the rugs, because there's so many things that can cause that, and some of which is going on in his life. So, yeah, exactly, neuro. Yeah, possibly rug-induced. Sometimes it happens when the rugs are removed. It can happen. Sometimes the trauma and the stress of things going on around you, and again, schizophrenia. So there's things, right? The paranoia too, Ginger. Yep, definitely. Like there's things going on there. And that's why I was kind of thinking the rugs or schizophrenia, because it seems from what we hear prior to even Lilly&Jack go missing, there was things going on then too, right? That kind of hints at it as well. Yeah. So, or he's a good actor. Yeah. Well, look, my thoughts would be there as well for a while. But then as I started seeing certain things, I started to question that, okay, is there something else going on here? Yeah. You see his behavior as more as pathetic. Yeah. Well, I find some of it quite pathetic as well. And don't get me wrong, just because somebody could have some type of psychosis going on doesn't, is no excuse for certain behaviors, right? And how pathetic those behaviors are, and the narcissism. Yeah, no excuse, right? Yeah. So, anyways, just a thought. Yes, the paranoia is a symptom of the narcissistic personality too. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And him not fretting over what anyone thinks about him is more psychopathic, sociopathic, catch-all for either in drippy speak. Yeah. Hard to say. Like I said, there's many things, right? I will say one thing, bonus bonus, I know some of the stuff, it's in riddles, right? That's the thing that's really getting me, the whole riddle and disorganized talk. Yeah. Hi, Wanad. Thanks for being here. No worries about that because you can go back and listen later, right? Yeah. All right, so let's go back and remember too, there's lots of things that cause the narcissistic personality, right? Um, yeah, lots of, things that can go along with that types of mental illness, right? That involve the narcissistic personality. Yeah. Yeah, drug-induced schizophrenia is real. I know someone who suffers from it. Yep. Mhm. Yep. Or if you already have it, it makes it worse, of course, right? It's going to exacerbate it. Okay, let's go back to this. Okay, so Daniel Martell. Her being silent and her perspective stops from incriminating herself. That's a good thing if you're guilty, right? I'm not saying she is, but door swings both ways. Just watch it doesn't swing back and hit you. And she says, who is Justin Smith? Now, in case you guys don't remember when I read the court documents, Justin Smith is a neighbor who had helped with the search, and police had spoke to him. He's in the court documents. Now, I don't know if he is the neighbor that Janie and Daniel take issue with. I'm gonna assume not by what he stated in his statement, that he's known them for a long time. Him and Janie always got along. He doesn't know Malay and Daniel as well as Janie. He doesn't know them that well in the way that he knows Janie. So I don't know that it is that same neighbor. Yeah, just watch it. And he says neighbor. She says, who's Justin Smith? And he says neighbor. So why park at the neighbors? Obviously, in your neck of the woods, this would be very obvious to anyone. And he says, oh, dogs. I'm not sure if dogs were there. Strange vehicle parked randomly around in a sparsely populated area is very obvious. Daniel says, no, they stopped and checked relations to kids or me. Like, nothing he says makes sense. It's just riddles. Do you know what update police are giving next week, or why they are waiting until next week? And he says, so these questions at least tell us when this was, the conversations took place. And he says, Dan was right. Sorry to sound narcissistic, but yeah. And when he's saying Dan was right, I'm assuming he's talking about DT, or he's talking about himself in third person, but I'm going to go with DT. So do you know what update police are going to be giving next week, or why they are waiting until next week? And then he says, Dan was right. Sorry to sound narcissistic, but yeah, I've been releasing info since the start. And he keeps saying that over and over. No one believed me. And again, I'm reading it like he has it written here. No one believed me. Everything on the case was from me, other than docs. Everything. And she says, okay, what do you mean Dan was right? And I was asking if you know what update police are going to be giving, and why are they waiting a week to release this update? And then he says, I'm right, 100%, nothing CBC News. Or, I'm right, 100%, nothing CBC interview. Susan, I released everything the public knows other than the docs. So he's saying that again. Their update is that they have nothing. Man, got to give her credit for trying and trying to keep him straight and get him to answer the questions with him being so all over the place. I don't think I would have the patience. I don't have the patience that I used to be honest with you. I think, and then he says, I think 2 updates. Why wait a week to say they found nothing? They are giving 2 updates. One update as normal tip amount. That stuff keeps less informed, up to date, and one for dogs. And that's exactly what's written there, guys. One update as normal tip amount. That stuff keeps less informed, up to date, and one for dogs. Probably release amount of area covered. General areas. Thank Amy Hansen for helping out with the dogs. Surface level. Everything is approved. My lead investigator. Like the docs, he blacks it out. You approve everything, or lead investigator, you mean approves everything. As time progressed, Susan, I freely speak. 5 months is a long time. Not making any sense, Daniel. As time progresses, lead investigator does. I've met him a couple of times. Very nice guy. Those docs are not even 1% of overall. So you have approved what will be released next week with redacted info. Is that what you mean? No, not me. Lead investigator does that. Okay, that's what I thought you meant. I get told days in advance, sometimes of release date. As time progressed, Susan, I freely speak fine lead investigator. I've met a couple of, okay, just read that one. Why did it look like a new one that come up? As time. Do you know which date they are going? Do you know which date they are doing the update? It's nice to have that grace period of a couple days to prepare for attacks. So it's 1% in the docs. What else is there that you can talk about? Docs is 1% of overall case. I did 10 hours of interrogation. That's a lot of words. I never shut up sometimes. And then he laughs out loud. LOL. And Susan says, by the way, did you have a lawyer while you were being interrogated? And Daniel says, no. Every question I can answer with confidence because I did nothing. Have they ever arrested you and taken you in for questioning, or did you just voluntarily go in? I get picked up and drove there. My brother drove me once. And she says, okay, police picking you up and taking you in for questioning could be construed in many ways. Have you ever been told you are under arrest and read your rights? Yeah, after my, wait now. Why do I feel like we missed something there? Yeah, after my polygraph exam, I stopped in at Patty's, and I can't believe this. I cannot believe that he did this. Like, this guy just does not get the message. Stay away from these people. Stay away from Patty. Stay away from Cindy, Malaya. Stay away from them. Yeah, after my polygraph exam, I stopped in at Patty's to, ensure her I passed my polygraph exam and I never red rum two small children. Patty told Cindy I stopped in and I guess she was livid mad. Yeah, I bet she was livid mad because you shouldn't be stopping in an elderly, vulnerable lady's home. With what is taking place and history already there. Um, Same as him going up to Malaya there with the mail and throwing it in the back of the car. And then, well, I didn't want to pass her going in the door and her. Yeah, okay. You'd rather do that outside where she's alone than her feeling a little more secure inside a building of the CPS. And stuff like that to me, I find scary because if a person can't grasp that after you're told to stay away and then you're still doing stuff like that, that's an issue. Yeah. Because that's pretty straightforward and you're an adult, so it's pretty, straightforward. Probably still mad from when I told her off at the first search briefing. Yeah, Daniel, that's her big concern now. Yeah. But yeah, CPS Meadow case. CPS Meadow case in it says Cindy doesn't want Daniel around Patty's house. Well, yeah, I bet it does. So that would have been a police report. I'm going to take that as, which made its way into court. I speculating. Yeah. Just in case. Yeah. But yeah, CPS Meadow case and it says Cindy doesn't want Daniel around Patty's house just in case I'm there. Which I don't believe that that's what it said. And okay, I know when you're there of not Cindy. Wade doesn't have a license. And for him to still be saying that, like the guy just doesn't get it. Like, who are you to think that it's okay to even go there? Just no, does not make sense. Ooh, that's scary when somebody doesn't get the limits and the boundaries. Yeah, major crimes officers come to my place. We go in for questioning. They buy me food, coffee, UPU, no. DNA collection, fine by me, free food. Well, they would only have to do that once for DNA collection. If they're still taking you and buying you food and coffee, I'd say it's to keep you relaxed and friendly with you. They're not going to keep taking your DNA over and over and over. Just FYI. I better take a peek over here and see how you guys are doing. Because I can't see y'all. I could be frozen. You're all doing good? Yeah. Yeah. Good. You're all chit-chatting while I'm reading? Yep. I just think I can't even believe he did that. And I think it's ridiculous that he still doesn't get the limits and the boundaries. Like, he's still like, yeah, Cindy, yeah. Like, I wouldn't know that you weren't there. Like, it's okay for him to just go there. Like, whoo. Yeah. No understanding of boundaries. And to me, people like that are scary. That's just in my opinion and experience. All right. You guys seem to be doing good over here. I'm going to go back over and continue to read. And I hope they're keeping an eye on him because he does some creepy stuff, I have to say. Not to mention the fact how Janie said she's scared about him. She compared him to a Porta-Pick situation happening. And I mean, for a mother to be saying that she's scared a Porta-Pick situation's going to happen. I mean, and if you don't understand what the Porta-Pick situation is, it happened around here, and it's Canada's worst massive shooting ever spree. And 22 people were unalived, and it was only over a 24-hour period. It might have been less than 24 hours, but I mean, it was no longer than 24 hours. And like Janie said that on those Janie tapes, like, I mean, you're talking about your own son, like, yeah, scary. We take smoke breaks. This is Daniel again now talking about the investigators. We take smoke breaks. I vape outside, come in, do more questions. I draw maps to hidden treasure. Yeah, okay. Not really. I draw maps of areas I search during the time they want it. Like, what a weird thing to say. I draw maps of hidden treasure. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be judgmental, but recall days in advance, minute by minute. That was rough to do because it's normal life. The brain sees no reason to store it, right? So simple days memory is hard. Well, in a sense, but no, not the days right around the disappearance of two small children. It's not like they're asking you something that happened last month. They drove me home afterwards, like 140, 150 on the highway. And she says, 140, 150, because the speed limit here is 110. Talking like normal people. It was nice to feel normal for those few minutes, Susan. 110, Susan, is highway speed. 110, Susan, highway speed. Thanks for correcting me. I appreciate it. I don't think she was correcting him. My God. I'm sorry for laughing. I really I fear there's some kind of psychosis or something going on. Total speculation. Oh, what's happening here now? Don't be doing that to me. And then he says to Susan, looking out for the boys in blue. Thank you. Like, it's just slightly bizarre how he's taking that information in. Okay, just answer this question. I am sure you think you have answered it, but not really. So to be clear, just a yes or no. Good on you, Susan. Have you ever been told you are under arrest? Being arrested is different than being charged. And when she asked him that question, he skipped right over that and then went to about how he went to Patty's and was went to her house and Cindy get upset, and then that was mentioned in CPS, which I think there must have been a police report on that. Kind of makes me wonder, did they say, Daniel, like, this could cause you to be arrested if you do not stay away? And that's where his mind went to. It's total speculation, because he went right into that whole story. And he actually said, yeah, when I went to Patty. So I'm just thinking that something must have been mentioned there. Yeah, to really just yes or no. Have you ever been told you are under arrest? Being arrested is different than being charged. And this is Susan saying this. You can be arrested, which only means you are not free to leave until the police say so. They can then lay charges or not. Many people are arrested but never charged. And then Daniel says, the correct term is detained. I was never detained. Detained means a probable cause was rendered, meaning a criminal offense may or may have been encountered. I've never committed a criminal offense or even being accused of a criminal offense in nature. If a criminal offense happens during a missing persons case and it affects or harms the missing person or harms the case as a whole, it pivots to a criminal case. I'm act dumb, Susan, but I'm not always dumb. If that's true, I don't know, I guessed. Okay. And Susan says, okay, well, you've answered my question well enough. And I don't know if any of what he just said there is true, but I am going to assume probably not. Maybe a little bit of it, in my opinion. Oh, she left that one up there for a while. Let me ask you two questions. What was Lily doing? Okay, so this is part of what I want you guys to hear, besides the rest of it. Let me ask you two questions. What was Lily doing the very last time you physically saw her, and when was that? And, okay, so she asked the two questions together. Very good. And what was Jack doing the very last time you physically saw him, and when was that? As time goes on, I look back at those moments and I can almost freeze frame them. This is Daniel speaking. I can almost freeze frame them because I'm layering bed so many times, playing them over on like a endless loop. She seemed excited, Susan. No Barbie t-shirt on, I can say that. Why was she excited, and what did she have on? Jack was sleeping a little after midnight on May 1st. I flicked on the lights and looked. I'm both asleep. I never seen him May 2nd. And then she asked him again, did Lily say anything? And he says, not the first time, but the second time, yes. And I'm like, what? So now you actually are going to finally say that, yeah, she did say something when she poked her head in the room, which was pretty darn obvious. I went over these times as I said in my head over and over, trying to find details or clues to help. Susan, she either said, hi, Dad, or hello, Dad. I remember before I thought she didn't say anything, but time passes and everything becomes clear. No, I'm sorry. You don't suddenly remember that she did say something. No, you might forget exactly what she said. As I said, like he told Mike DeMann, hey, Dad, but now he's saying here, hi, Dad. Yeah, you might forget exactly how it was said, right? So you're going to paraphrase. But no, you don't forget that the missing child that morning said something to you. No. I remember before I thought she didn't say anything, but time passes and everything becomes clear. Mission becomes clear. There's really something going on with him. I really feel that, in my opinion. Evidence builds, leads are followed up on, and time continues to tick for the individuals involved, but the batteries in the watch only last so long. Yeah, and that would be speaking in riddles. And that is it, guys, for that. So, yeah. So you see, I'm sure you're all picking up when I'm laying down here. Hi, Bonnie. Thanks for being here. Anybody new that came in while I was reading? Hi to you all. CB, hi. Thanks for being here. Haven't seen you in a while. Hi, Novah. How come you call Patty elderly? Well, I believe she's 70. I believe she's 70 or in her 70s. And Daniel is in his 30s. So there's a 40-year difference there. And I believe she has, from what I've heard, there's some type of dementia issues going on there with her. But whether she's elderly or she's not, he's not supposed to be there. He shouldn't be around. He's not supposed to. He's crossing boundaries there. He shouldn't be doing that. Yeah. So, yeah, eyewitnesses usually lose memories of events, not remember. Yeah, things can fade, right? And then that's why they write everything down. Because sometimes they have to go back and recall your memory, and sometimes when they read it, and it actually does jog their memory. I've seen it in many court cases I've watched, and then they do remember and say, yes, actually that is correct, or they still can't recall, yeah. Okay, so the other thing I want to do is go over to Malaya's statement. As I said, I was always curious about if one of these guys were able to slip out of bed. Total speculation. We don't know what happened. But if that were to ever have taken place, where was Baby Meadow? Was Baby Meadow snuggled with mom or dad? So DT asks the question about Malaya to Daniel, would she have been able to get in and out of bed, right? And I always wondered, would Daniel be able to get in and out of bed? So I have the same question, but of the opposite person. And to me, the answer always was to that question was whoever wasn't snuggled into the baby, because obviously, if the baby's with you, you're not slipping out of bed and back into bed, right? And then the baby's asleep the whole time, and especially with Malaya, who doesn't let go of the baby, and so that there's certain questions that you have that you go, well, that's what would answer that question: who had the baby? Because the person that didn't have the baby is the one who would be the only person with the capabilities of slipping in and out of that bed, or out of in and back in. Not saying that that's what happened, but just that answers that question for me. So he clearly answered that question on DT, that it was Malaya who had the baby, and that that would not be a possibility for her to be able to do that. So that answered my question. That would be, like I said, it's no different than DT asking the question, because I had the same question. I had the same question of many of the questions that he asked. Good questions. I had the same question. And so the answer is, well, no, it wasn't Malaya. It was Daniel who would have been able to do that. And it answered that for DT as well. I mean, if Daniel's saying, well, no, the baby was snuggled into her, that really wouldn't have been a possibility. Well, the other possibility is that he could, right? So I always had that question. I did bring it up before, and that's why I don't like to point fingers. You just have questions, things that don't make sense, things that helped you to understand what could have took place, and that was always a question for me. So now I want to go over and read some stuff out of Malaya's. Well, we'll just go over Malaya's court docs. Well, you guys can't see that very well, but it's the court docs. And I will go over to the other side and read them. We'll just go right through her whole statement. There's a couple of things in there that Sasha, hi. Thanks for being here. I don't think I've seen you here before. Same as Sharona. I don't think I've seen you here before either. I know I said hi to you, but anybody else new coming in that I didn't say hi to, thanks for being here. Thanks for popping in. Okay, so I'm going to go over and I'm going to read this. So this is Malaya's statement to police. Even on my screen, it's kind of... I better put my reading glasses on, folks. What time are we at here? We're at 1:36. How about we take a little break? I'll put a little bit of music on. And if you need to go get a water or go to the bathroom or go outside and have a cigarette, do so. And then we will all meet back here, okay? So I'm going to run and get a drink. So we'll all meet back here, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Hi, I'm back. I get a kick out of that. It's cute. Just to give people a little chuckle too. All right, let's go over to these documents. Okay. So, Malaya provided 4 statements to police. Glasses on. Malaya provided 4 statements to police. 2 statements were provided on May 2nd, 2025, one on May 3rd, 2025, and one on May 4th, 2025. The following is a summary of what she said. On the day Jack and Lily went missing, she heard them playing in the other room and was going in and out of sleep. Lily came in the room around blank a couple of times. Daniel was sleeping the whole time and didn't really wake up. Now, that that really gets me, because that to me tells me, and I believe it. I do believe what Malaya is saying. The only thing I never ever believed that Malaya had said, and then she did kind of change it later, was in her initial interview with media. She was kind of doing a CYA, cover your, butt, as far as the neglectful parenting. And I could clearly see that there was things being said that were being, that were probably not so, or exaggerated to kind of cover up the fact that there was some neglectful parenting going on there, which is a definite. There is 100% definite of that. But outside of that, I always questioned that she was kind of believing a narrative that she, information that was being told to her that she otherwise wouldn't question, until you kind of start to put some puzzle pieces together, and then you realize that, wait a minute, I'm not believing this. The light bulb turns on, and I do believe that she believes that Daniel was sleeping the whole time. But we know he wasn't, because Daniel himself admittedly has continuously stated that he wasn't sleeping the whole time. He heard Jack out in the kitchen. He saw Lily come into the room. Now he's admitting that, yeah, Lily said something while she popped into the room. Which is obvious. It was obvious when I did that video 4 weeks ago. It was obvious when Justin pointed it out that, well, how do you know she was sick if she didn't say anything? It's becoming more and more evident that, she said something. So again, he's awake. In his CBC interview, he stated, I wasn't in a deep sleep by any means. Do we all remember that? Does everybody remember that? I quote Daniel stating, I was not in a deep sleep by any means, from his CBC sit down interview. So obviously Daniel was awake. So I always said that there's things Malaya thought. Yeah, the CBC. Yeah. CBC interview. Yeah, sit down interview. I always said there's things that Malaya thought, in my opinion, it was always my opinion, but now it's kind of when you're starting to put these puzzle pieces together, you're going, yeah, well, it's true. She did think things were a certain way that are obviously becoming evident that whoops, not so. And I mean, here she is stating that in her statement to police, because she's believing that, in my opinion. I don't think she's lying. I think she truly believes that, in my opinion. So it's very evident Daniel was not asleep. He wasn't asleep, obviously. How can you be asleep and know all of that going on? State to CBC you weren't in any deep sleep. You weren't in a deep sleep by any means. You just told DT the baby was sleeping on Malaya's arm, so you knew that. So you had to be awake to see that. And it wouldn't be her that would be capable of, because the question was, then DT's the one that asked it. So if anybody doesn't like the question, go after him. He asked it. He just confirmed something I always wanted to know. I had the same question and mentioned it a very long time ago in one of my videos, that it was her who had the baby. So no, she couldn't get in and out of the bed. But Daniel could have, obviously, because he didn't have the baby, right? Because that question can go both ways. It's not just directed at Malaya, right? It's also directed at Daniel. Well, could you have? And the answer would be yeah. So, yeah. So, oh, yes. I 100% agree. Yeah, Daniel watching all the time. There was control, not in deep sleep. Yeah, heard a lock. Oh, yeah, heard the lock, right? There's so much to show. Now, he can't change that. Now, come on. If he comes out tomorrow and goes, well, your memory, what it's like, I was actually sleeping the whole time. That was, I think that was all a dream. None of that actually happened. No, you've backed yourself in a corner. You were awake the whole time, obviously. Obviously. And, you don't see, hear, no, all of that is going on, and you're sleeping. That's just not so. So, in my opinion, he's the one. As I said, the same question goes for Daniel as goes for Malaya, DT. Could Daniel have slipped out of that bed and back in? Yes, he could have. Definitely. He's the one who admits he was awake. He's the one who admits he didn't have the baby. He's the one that admits that he's heard this, that, the other thing. He's the one that admits he saw Lily. So, anyways, all in my opinion, guys. So Malaya, she got up and they couldn't find them. So they called 911. The police came and got statements. Everyone was frantically searching for them. Malaya did not think this would take days. Malaya discussed what happened earlier in the week. The kids went to school on May. I don't think I'll get into all that. The biggest thing I wanted to show was that. The fact that she thought he was awake the whole time. Or sorry, sleeping the whole time. And he's admittedly stated that that's not so. He's proven it by everything that he's stated. Yeah. So I think I'll come over to comments now, guys. See what you guys have to say. Do 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 do. I don't know how far I want to go back. Oh, thank you. Not sure how there's correlation between Daniel's age and Patty's. Malaya is only 27 from what I've heard. So maybe her mom's mom is not in her 70s and maybe does not have bad memory. Maybe not. But my understanding is that she it's allegedly, I can't tell you if it's 100% or not. Never met her, don't know her, don't know anything about her except for what is, the information that we're given on here. And I questioned it when I read the part, her statement, because her statement was kind of not making sense, that I seemed like there was some memory issues there, just from my experience of working with those with dementia and memory issues. So I questioned it, and it was stated by others that she does suffer from some memory issues. So whether that's true or not, I don't know, CB. I can't confirm it. But and I guess just looking at Malaya's in her 20s. Yeah, I suppose you're right, because I'm 53 and my kids are in their 30s. She's 27. Yeah. But she would still be considered elderly, to be honest with you. Senior maybe is a better word. And he better respect his seniors or and or elders. Nonetheless, I don't care what her age is. Even outside of that, he still shouldn't be doing that. But yeah, I mean, that's the grandmother of Malaya. There's no reason for him to be going there. Yeah, that is why I had zero issues with Janie writing things down and looking at her notes. I think it is important to write things down, especially in a case. Oh, definitely. I would be too, like anything. I mean, I do with this case because of my memory issues, but yeah, like if that was my step grandchild or my actual grandson or anything like that. Yes, definitely. Novah, where is the copper mill? I have no idea. Or mine. Sorry. Sometimes I read so fast I say the wrong word. I don't know where the copper mine is. That'd be something I would have to ask my husband. I know they said that they eventually, and maybe they did in this search, because they did say they did, what'd they say, 40-kilometer radius, that they were going to check some mines. So maybe they did in the search with the dogs. I don't know. But because they did state that they do eventually, that they will eventually check some mines, that they're going to go back and check some mines. In my opinion, Notebook has something, I reckon RCMP should take it. I was thinking the same thing, Sharona. Like to go through that stuff, definitely, of what he's putting in there, and also to get a good idea of his mental stability. Definitely. Yeah. I think Meadow was in a crib, not in a bed. Yep. That's why she wasn't up running around. Yeah, she was in a crib, but then Malaya took her out of the crib and took her to bed with her, which is in these documents. It's in the documents. She took her out of the crib and took her in the bed with her. And turned the TV on. He knows fine well people are dissecting his story. That's his intentions. Yeah. What 16-month-old sleeps in that long? I know. Mine definitely doesn't. No, I know. Definitely not. You're up by that time. Geez. By 11 o'clock, they're starting to get sleepy again for a nap, and you're trying to keep them awake to at least have their lunch and then go for a nap after lunch. But I mean, yeah, like they're up, they've eaten, they've played, they've possibly had a bath, you possibly had them out for a walk, and yeah, the day has begun. Definitely. I agree. Well, we know Daniel only works 1 day a week. Well, he's actually off work right now due to stress. But if he was at work, it probably wouldn't still be the 1 day. The 1 day is a very short-term thing. Just being from the area, I don't know if you guys know, I am from Pictou County. And that's how it works around here with the sawmills. So they can be laid off and be called back to work a week later. Like those layoffs are not long-term layoffs. They're laid off. They keep them usually 1-2 days a week. And then they're back to full-time hours in a very short period. So even if he wasn't off work due to stress leave currently, and that's from him who stated that, he probably would be back to work full-time, possibly, unless they had another layoff. But yeah. And while they have that 1 day a week work and they're laid off, they have their unemployment as well. So it's not like they're without income. Oh yeah, he knows. Definitely, Lori. Does Daniel make money in another way at night involving the children did something go wrong that night? Maybe reminds me of a Summer Wells and her little neighborhood. Yeah. Hard to say because we just don't know. I just know that there's certain things going on that are very bizarre and don't make sense to me. Like everything I just went through on this episode today. Why? We can't say, right? I know this much. We are very dedicated, and so is our bulldog, RCMP. Yep. I'm confident in you and 100%. Yeah, I really, really, really hope that they solve this one. Oh my gosh, I hope they do. If anyone didn't need a bath, yeah. 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 4 statements about your 2 missing children doesn't seem like a lot. Well, that was only from mid-July, remember? So that's only up to mid-July. So whatever's taken place since then till now, we don't know because that's all that's been given to the media who shared it with the public was up to mid-July. And the kids have been missing since May 1st. Or May 2nd. So, yeah. So that would have been from May 2nd to mid-July that she gave 4 statements. So how many there is now? Who knows? I believe, personally, in my opinion, I believe she's in constant contact with the RCMP. Well, she is in the sense that she's the one that they only give information to regarding the children. That's already been stated in the press. Yeah, so Malaya gave 3 statements of days in her story about that morning did not change according to the RCMP's docs. No, it didn't. Yeah. Yeah, it always stayed the same except for that, like I said in the very beginning, that interview she gave, she was kind of doing a CYA thing about the sloppy parenting stuff. And you could clearly see that, right? Like they never go outside by themselves and you're kind of like, Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Daniel watching them all the time. There is control. Oh, yeah, I already read that one. Yeah. Malaya could be going by what Daniel and Janie told her and had to stick by it because of Meadow being taken of them. Um, I kind of agree with you there. Yeah, yeah. Um, and we all have our own thoughts because I always thought that too, Lori, that she's going by, to me, it always seemed like what she was being told, right? Like, oh, I heard the kids out in the yard. And then she had stated that in her interview. And right away, to me, that I thought, oh, well, somebody's telling her that. Like, she's repeating what somebody told her. And not in the sense that the three of them sat down and said, okay, we got to come up with a story, and this is what the narrative we're going with, but just in the sense that, um when you're being given information, and so Janie's saying, well, I heard the kids outside. Daniel saying, well, I was sleeping the whole time. I don't know what happened. Like, and that that's the stuff she's going to be repeating. And which she did, saying Daniel was sleeping the whole time, which he clearly wasn't, because he's never ever said that he was sleeping the whole time. But in her mind, he was. And she clearly was told by somebody that the kids were heard outside because she said it in her first interview, and now we know it was Janie that said that. So yeah, she's definitely being told stuff. In my opinion, sobriety might be bring on new memory. Oh, that's true too. True too. Yep. Yep. Daniel said Jack didn't sleep till after midnight. Daniel was still awake. Daniel said Jack didn't sleep till after midnight. I don't recall him saying that Jack didn't sleep till after midnight. But Malaya said that Daniel was still up, and that he never came, or he was supposed to clean up. And Ginger had mentioned that earlier, and that's something that gets me too. Like, what was he doing? Malaya wouldn't get time to ask him, of course, because the kids went missing, right? But I mean, I know myself, if my husband said, you seem really tired, head off to bed, I'll get the dishes going and throw the laundry or whatever, right? And the next day it wasn't done, I'd be going, what were you doing? You said you were going to do this, right? It would be a conversation you would have, but that conversation never happened, because the kids are missing. But yeah, I'd be curious, like, well, what the heck were you doing, right? He is also the one that said he heard the patio door open and close. Thank you. In one interview. And at the time, we all thought that was an anomaly, right? That just, because it's only in that one interview, they made a boo-boo. And then after that, we got to learn about Daniel a little bit more and realize that, oh, he says different things all the time to different people. So yeah, he did say that in one interview. He did, Ginger. That's right. Good memory. I'm going to count back from 3, and when you awake, I will feel refreshed and believe everything Daniel says is the truth. Well, I'm sure he's hoping that. Hi, Celia. Thanks for being here. Lori Green, all 3 had the same goal, not to lose Meadow. Yeah. Yeah. They lost her. After reading Patty's statement, she has some memory issues. Yeah, it sure seems like it. Yeah. For sure. And you know how in the documents where the RCMP said anything that they feel needs to be corrected, or an error in the statement, that she'll make note of it. Well, there wasn't even any note of it. Like, it didn't even say, we believe Patty meant blah 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 blah. Like, Yeah, it was quite a mix-up for sure. I think her statement makes perfectly good sense in my opinion. Okay, well, we can go over that again on another day, CB, and see how much sense it makes. Maybe I read it wrong. Yeah. I'm also 53. Cool. I will be 54 this month. Neighbor here's 5-speed. Yeah, in and out midnight till 5 a.m. Friday morning. 2. So Daniel was still going at 5 a.m. Then how long did it take to fall asleep? Neighbor here's 5-speed. In and out. Midnight till 5. Yep. So Daniel was still going at 5 a.m. Allegedly, if that was him. Allegedly. Because we don't know that, right? And in speculating. Then how long did it take to fall asleep? Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Shenanigans. Hello. Thanks for being here. In my opinion, it was inappropriate for him to go there. Oh, 100% it's inappropriate. 100%. Totally crossing, not having an understanding of boundaries. I have a nephew that's 30 and my mom is 78. Yeah. 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 Well, my mom had us when she was young. I had my kids when I was in my mid 20s. And my mom is in her early 70s. And my kids are 30, 30 and 31. 30 and 31, yeah. So that's why I was saying she's thinking she was around 70. I feel like somebody had said one time her age and that they said 69 or 70. But I could be totally wrong. Novah copper mine and Big Island checked. Don't know. Only the RCMP would know that. Now, RCMP, I want every neighbor questioned again, and especially the black house neighbor. Well, apparently nobody lives in there, according to Kent. Kent says nobody lives in there. The black house neighbor that has moved, oh, and you're saying has moved, asks them if, for any reason, were Jack and Lily in their home. I agree. Everybody should be checked. I don't care who it is, like out in that vicinity, right? I got told aminotropiline meds can cause early dementia. Just thought I'd let people know. Interesting. There are all kinds of meds that can cause wreak havoc with your memory, that's for sure. Daniel saw Lily that morning. Yeah, according to Daniel. Daniel may have planted an older memory into his brain. Daniel saw Lily that morning, according to Daniel. Daniel may have planted an older memory into his brain. I don't know. I don't know how somebody could do that. Like if your children go missing and you're calling the police right away, and right away you're giving them statements, which they have admitted the first statements were taken right away. You should know right then there should be no issue with your memory of that morning. Yeah. Do forensics on all neighbors that are willing and that Jack and Lily were inside immediately. Something was going on with a neighbor and Daniel and the children. My opinion, this is more than absolutely. Like everything should be looked at, right? Everything. And I don't think the neighbor had anything to do with it, but it really doesn't matter. We all have our different thoughts and speculations, right? But yeah, everything should be checked to the extreme, right? Yeah. Thank you, Novah. Just pointing out, social media seems to believe that she is elderly, forgetful, being taken advantage of, stolen from, etc. Where's all that coming from? Oh, well, apparently they did take money from her. The credit card issues. Yeah, and I'd have to go back to look at exactly where that came from. Yeah. But you're right. That is what's being said. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. My 78-year-old mom suffers cognitive decline too. It started years ago, but only started to get really noticeable the last decade. Yeah. Well, I have memory issues because of some illnesses and medications and pain levels and that I suffer with myself. And I have now today, it's not as bad. But the last few days prior to this, it was really bad because I had sinus issues going on and I was sneezing a lot and it just put my pain through the roof. The pain, like I have issues on my left side really bad. And then, of course, the sneezing throws my back out of any type of like it just puts it back up to a 10 because I have impingement and so just stuff like that, just sneezing. Yeah, so and then that makes my memory issues worse because now it's yeah, anyways, it's a horrible cycle. So and I'm only, I'll be 54 this month, so Sasha, Daniel is obsessed with special crimes. That's crimes against children, like and maybe other disgusting things. Well, that's in your opinion. You have to say because we don't know that, right? We don't know that is a fact. But that's not anything that I've ever heard. Babies who are underweight can be tired, I know, a lot, as they don't have energy. Yeah. Yeah, and she did not look good. If you've seen the pictures of her early on, compared to then to now, because he keeps posting pictures of himself with her, it looks like two different babies. I mean, she had the dark all around her eyes. She looks so healthy now. It doesn't look like the same baby. Completely different. They don't really say dementia anymore. Plus, there are meds that can help somewhat. Oh, they don't use the word dementia anymore? See, I've been retired now since I was 46. Just due to illness, I had to leave early. So that's new to me. That is new to me. Did not know that. And you're right too, about the medications. Yeah. Oh, I knew what you meant. Yeah. How far is Big Island from the trailer? Probably about 45-minute drive. Big Island is where his father owns that property. That's down that way. Yeah, that's all in the same area. So Daniel, is this a special crime? But you keep mentioning special crimes. We know what these crimes consist of with the monsters committing them. CB, the police would know if Malaya was at Patty's by the type of car Malaya has got. Yeah. All right, I'm going to skip down some because you guys are I'm way behind. Hi, Sue. Thanks for being here. I don't think I said hi already. And Pumpkin Spice. I like that name. I like that name. That's one of my favorite tarts. If Patty has dementia, they using her card is problematic. Yes, if any of that is true. Yeah. Is there a new DT show scheduled? Don't know because I don't really watch it. Mary Stevens, hi, thanks for being here. What bombshell do you think will be released on DT show? Oh, maybe he does have something coming out. I don't think there's any bombshell. It's probably going to be that they're cleared. The dogs didn't find anything. They're clear. That's probably what it's going to be. And that's why I said there's 2 sentences in that news release that I read there that I'm very happy they put in there. But maybe it won't matter. Her interview sounded so staged. Makes sense that she repeated what she was told. Yeah, I found that too. Like some of the stuff she was saying, I was like, I don't think that's actually coming from her. Yeah. Hi, Debbie. And Marianne. Hi, Marianne and Debbie. Drippy sounds a very wide open diagnosis. Drippy sounds a very wide open diagnosis. It appears Patty is providing the vehicle for Malaya's escape. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. It's been said that Patty bought her that vehicle. I don't have any absolute 100% evidence of any of that, right? So we'll say allegedly. Those are all rumors, allegedly, right? Because we can't say those things are true, right? Nova, I got the impression that Malaya was uneasy and anxious in talking to the reporter. Yep. I thought maybe Daniel was close by her, and when he said then my partner, she had doubts. He probably was close by her because it doesn't seem like much went on without him being close by. Yeah, maybe he was hitting Patty up for some cash. And that's the thing. That's why I said, where there's things that already happened there before. I mean, they lived there and then they left there and went to Janie's for a reason. Like, and plus this is the grandmother of Malaya, who he's not supposed to be around. And it's the great grandmother of these 2 missing children where nobody knows where they are. It's just totally crossing a boundary that it's like I said, when someone doesn't have a comprehension of that, it's kind of scary, right? Yeah. Oh, I don't know why that won't come up. Cheryl, you became a member. There it is. Excuse me. Thank you. Thank you for becoming a member. Let me see what I have here now. No. There it is. Thank you. Thank you very much. Big smiles on my face. And it's so cheap, $1.49. I picked the cheapest one. And I am hoping to start some members lives. We'll just start them off with just kind of having a chat, chat about anything, fun, laughs, kind of like a de-stress, from these heavy topics. Because I don't think it's fair to have a live and it not, and not have the information go out about these cases. So we'll do it more about just, kind of de-stressing. Not that we can't talk about the case, right? We still can. But I'll allow you guys to, if there's any questions you want to ask about me, I'll answer them. And we'll just be silly together. We can talk about health topics if you want. I know a lot of people that spend time on YouTube, and even a lot of creators are people who suffer from health issues. So we can do that. Yeah. Yeah. So I will be starting those sometime soon. And Cheryl, there is some emojis there as well. I'm gonna do some more up. I got a few of those done up. Out of everything, they're like the hardest to do for as so far as having a channel, because they have to be cut a certain size, and sometimes they come out just perfect and they're a perfect size and you can make it out, and then other times you can't even make the word out, and it's frustrating making them, but I did do some. uh right. Yeah, in my opinion, bonkers to me that Patty can make a statement saying the last time they were there for laundry was 1 to 2 weeks earlier at the beginning of the week. Doesn't remember the exact day. Exactly. And that's why I was saying what I had said, right? So yeah, and you had stated, well, you didn't see any issues with her statement, and well, there's something off there. I don't, and yeah, something's off. Yeah. Um in my opinion, Malaya in her interview, she spoke directly to the kids. Yeah, there was one part where she had said, you are loved. Yeah. You are loved. You are loved. And you are missed. And the way that she said it made me think right away. I started thinking, is there something not so nice going on here? Because she sang it in the way that she might be under the impression that the last time, like the interactions with her children, that they may have the impression that they're not loved in the way that they were being treated. When the way that she said that is how I felt when she said it, that she's speaking directly to them as though she wants them to know, even though you were treated in this way, you are loved and you are missed. Like almost like, yeah, I think you know what I'm saying. Just sad. But, she made some bad decisions and she's going to be accountable for that. Yep. Oh my goodness. I had no idea. We're way over 2 hours. As an aging parent, I am confident about assumptions and biases against the aging. I practice law at 77. I don't think it matters what age you are. My mother-in-law, she's in her early 80s, and that woman's healthier than I am, like 100%. She's not on any medication. She has a fantastic memory. The only concern I have about her is that she needs her eyes checked, and she's being stubborn about it. But she drives down to the park every day, some day twice a day, does loops around the lake. She never stops. Like, age is a number. Believe me. Yeah. Like when I said that, it had nothing to do with a person's actual age. It had to do with the fact of what was seen in Patty's statements, what I saw myself, that as soon as I read it, I thought, oh, okay, there's some memory issues going on here. And I mean, I've worked with those with, with memory issues and dementia, um, and it was evident to me there was something going on there. And it doesn't matter how old you are. I mean, like I said, I'm in my 50s and I suffer from memory issues, right? Like I have spots on my brain that were seen. So it doesn't matter what age you are, right? Yeah. And it does, yeah, and it doesn't matter what age she is. He should know the boundaries, right? Like he shouldn't be showing up at Cindy's. He shouldn't be showing up at her Patty's. He shouldn't be showing up at Malaya's. He shouldn't be showing up at Haley's, Hayden's, anybody. Like, um, yeah. My gran passed away just before her, oh wow, 102nd birthday. She received her letter from the Queen. That is so cool. I've taken care of many people over 100, and still mobile, still doing the crosswords every night, refusing to take any kind of medications except a Tylenol at bedtime, or the warfarin, and that's it. And yeah, like, I'll tell you one thing, most people I've taken care of who are over 100, they typically, are people who do not take meds, just they don't take meds. They might take the odd Tylenol, uh, like, they stayed away from alcohol, like, they were just always people who didn't put stuff like that into their bodies. Um yeah, yeah, I've seen that time and time again, and typically it's more women than men too. Hi, Sue. I walk into a room and forgot why I'm in there. Oh yeah, yeah, I do that all the time, and I've started doing little things like, um, putting stuff in really weird places. So, one day I found mushrooms. I was cutting up mushrooms for supper, and instead of putting the rest of the fresh mushrooms back in the fridge, I put them in my purse, which is a really weird thing. Or I can't remember if I took my pills. Um, like I do stuff like that. I can remember things more long term than short term. Um, yeah. So it's just how it is. And yeah, and I take a lot of pills too. Yeah, 7 pills a day. Yeah, I'm on 13, and I think 3 or 4 of them are cardiovascular, and then one's neuro. Uh, yeah, and then there's a whole bunch of others. I can't even remember them all, but and I get mixed up, and I had to get them in the blister packs. How embarrassing, but yeah, I know, Sue. The mushrooms in the purse I was like, "What?" It actually scares me at first because it's like the first time you catch yourself doing something like that, and at first I'm really disappointed in myself, and it scares me because 'cause I'm like, "What the bleep is wrong with me?" And then I'll tell my husband, and then he'll just get me laughing about it, right? But, I mean, to go pick up your purse and you open it up to get your wallet, and here's your little plastic container of mushrooms. I'm like, "What the hell?" And I don't mean mushrooms that you use to get high. Mushrooms that you cook with. Like, holy cow. Oh. And that's all you can do is laugh. That's all I can do. I have put my ice cream in the cupboard. Oh god, that's a bad one. Yeah, what a mess. For sure. See, this is why we'll have to do a members live only, because we'll just talk about this stuff and chuckle, right? I don't believe in pharmaceutical either. Yeah, and that's like, I think everybody, I mean, as a nurse, you're trained that to respect that right of other people's, right? Like, we're trained not to force medication on anybody. If someone refuses their medication, that is their choice, right? And I respect that. That's why it's such an issue with the whole COVID thing and people not wanting vaccinated. That's their right. And then you're called a non-vaxxer. Well, no, there's always been people their whole lives who have chosen not to put anything into their body. That's their choice, and they're allowed to make that choice, except during COVID. Being absent-minded is one thing. Nor remembering things to start with is a problem. Yeah. Yeah. Drippy, I'm on the Thyroxine for underactive thyroid. Oh, yeah, okay. Hey, Novah, how did you get into this world of true crime? I've always been into it. Always. Always. Just like I actually make a joke because when I was a kid, I was a bit more of a serious, type personality. And I love Scooby-Doo, and that was the only cartoon I would ever watch. Everything else was just kinda like, "Ugh, yeah, that's foolish." But I'd watch Scooby-Doo. And I love Nancy Drew. Like, it's always been the whole crime mystery thing for me. And, so I just always started following cases and just, you know, looking into them, deep dives, and then any cases that we had around here, I would take an interest in and take a hard look at it, and then I went from that to starting my own channel. Yeah, once I was put off work sick, and things started to get sorted out, like somewhat, like with medications and whatever. Um, and learning how to keep my pain at a tolerable level, following a routine, a very strict routine. I have severe issues with edema in my legs as well due to the vascular issues. So once all that, then I thought, okay, well, I have to have something to do here at home because I was a busy, busy, busy person. I never stopped. That's just who I was. So then I thought I have to do something here at home that I can do, still keep my legs up to keep the edema down, be able to make sure my pain doesn't become increased by not having my feet up and doing anything to my back. So this is what I thought. I thought, well, maybe I'll try my own channel and see how that goes. So that's how that happened. I have two separate pill cases. One for my nighttime pills and one for my morning pills. Yeah, I tried that and I was still getting them mixed up. Even with the blister pack cards, I still even make mistakes with those. Like, I've taken my morning pills at night when I've already taken my morning pills, night pills, and then take my morning pills again, accidentally. Like, and it's just like, whatever. Like, I just know I'm going to have to check my blood pressure more frequently through the night when I wake up, because I always wake up with pain. So then I know, okay, I'll have to check my blood pressure when I wake up with the pain to make sure my blood pressure's not through my boots. Yeah. This is a cute name. Booper Pot Pie. Some of the names are cute. Hello. I have 2 autoimmune disorders. I found my tribe. Yes. Yeah, I had issues. I have issues with the autoimmune as well. Um, yeah, which didn't know until something happened in my mouth. There was stuff going on, and doctor was so focused on trying to figure the other stuff out that when anything I was bringing up about I didn't realize was autoimmune related, but I was saying this going on, that's going on. He was so focused on the other stuff trying to figure it out. And then something happened in my mouth. And I went to the dentist and she was like, okay, well, it's called Lincoln planus. And it only happens when you have autoimmune issues going on. And then, so then she told me you need to read up about it and learn about it. And she diagnosed me with it and wrote it up and sent it to the doctor. And I need a treatment for it because you have to treat it. And so then I had, did the reading that she told me to read, had advised me to read, and here all those other symptoms that I was bringing to my doctor was all a part of that. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah, and I have a mystery autoimmune disease too. Besides that, I've been trying to get diagnosed for 2 years. Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Yep. And the only reason nobody wants to believe her statement, which is quite clear to me that laundry was not done those 2 days, is because people believe that it was. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I question that as well. That perhaps she might be right on the dollar. And her memory might be tickety boo, no issue, and that what they're saying is very well true, or what she is saying is true. That that it was a couple of weeks before, because she had said a couple of weeks before, I believe. That could be true. Yeah, I know. I thought that too, CB. 100%. Yep. I've been in true crime since Jean Benet. Yeah, poor Jean Benet. What a sin. Yeah. You are so funny and aware of your own new body. Yep. Thanks for sharing. Well, thanks for saying that. And that's exactly what I call it. I call it my new brain. I always say, now, you guys know I've got my new brain. This is how my new brain works. Yeah. Nova, I had PDVS after a car accident in '08. I had to learn to walk again. Then vertigo. Oh, yeah, that's bad. I had that with the whole blood pressure issue thing going on. Then the vertigo took hold, had to learn to walk again, and live with convergence. I'm doing great now. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Clove water, 100%. I'm glad to hear that. The vertigo's bad. Bad. And then of course that can cause the vomiting and yeah. Enjoying this channel. Nice work. Well, thank you, Mary Stevens. Well, guys, we are at 2:36, and although I'd love to stay here and read all your comments, there's a lot, and I don't think I'm going to get to them. But yeah, I see you guys are talking to each other too, and I love that. That's awesome. Oh my goodness, you broke your back. Wow. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, because there'd be such nerve pain there, unfortunately. Yeah. See, I'm on Lyrica. Yeah, to help with my back issues. And I do have pain medication there I can take when I need to, but that's very, very, very rare. That I take one pill at bedtime, and that's it. It's very rare that I have to take it besides that. Not that I'm not having pain, but unless it's really, really bad, I don't want to take them because I want to function through the day. I don't want to be sleepy. I want to be able to come on here and do this. Yeah. But yeah, and it's just the Tramadol, because I actually have a reaction to pain medications. Like, oh my God, I'm telling you, I'm a case and a half. I'm telling you, I take reaction to, not that I'd want to be taking opiates anyways, but if I had to, of course. But yeah, they have to be very, very careful with me with opiates because and it's not like another, I don't know. I don't think it's an allergy. It's just an extreme sensitivity to them. Like I have, like, it's like, uh, just with small doses, I'll overdose. Like they've had to give me Narcan. Um, and I wasn't taking them at home. I didn't have a prescription or anything. It was in the hospital. They had given it to me. And yeah, not good. They had twice they had to give me Narcan. So now they say, like, it's written on my information. Yeah, that I can easily overdose with the opiates and to avoid giving them to me. So yeah, so that's a no for me. So for me it's Tramadol or Tramadol, which, like I said, I'll take one at bedtime, and then I'm allowed to take four a day, but I only take one at bedtime because I want to be somewhat functional through the day. Yeah. But now if I went out, like if I went out and did something, my husband said, "Hey, let's go do this for the day," or whatever. I know I'm going to be in excruciating pain when we get back home. I have to take one then too. Yeah, but that'd be very rare. Yeah, that I would do that. Yeah. All right, guys. I think I'm going to call it a day because we're at 2:40. Thanks, Drippy. I know. One of the benefits of being in the hospital is the good drugs. Nope, none for me. None for me. Yeah, and the second time they had to do that with the Narcan, oh my God, the nurses were so mad because I was saying this is what happened before, and I'm trying to warn you. I'm trying to warn you what happened before because I don't think my body really tolerates these medications, and they wouldn't listen. Yeah, you know your own body. All right, guys, lots of love. Truth and Beauty, thank you for being here. Uh, oh, yeah, thanks for being here. Lots of love, lots of positive vibes, and we will see you again. Not sure when. I can never say when for 100%. But yeah, I will see you guys again. Take care, everyone. Bye.